I'd like to welcome everybody to CKJ Crypto News. Guys, today we have a repeating guest, BAKKUP Brad Kimes. He was actually the first average Joe investor on the show. The first average Joe investor. Pretty much BAKKUP Brad Kimes, he does his homework. He's on this journey with the XRP like all of us. He's had a very interesting concepts. He's been doing his homework. XRP, BG123, end of the year, 589. Has it happened already? So he got some really interesting concept on this 589. So I figured I'd get him on the show. You know, we want some more clarity. Are we going to see 589? Has it happened? When's it going to happen? What's the deal with Bearable Guy? Maybe we can get him to chime in on some Ripple Riddler. But anyway, BAKKUP Brad Kimes, thank you big time for coming on the show today.
CKJ, thank you for having me, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, man.
I'm honored, that's for sure. I'm telling you, I watched your video about the 589. Has it already happened? Let's just get right to the point. I mean, what is going on? 589, has it happened? Now, what's your take on this 589? Maybe kind of talk about a few things you talked about in the video. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And before I do, real quick, look, I've been following you for a long time, as well as a lot of other people. Cobb, thinking crypto, those guys. But I've been with you a long time, and you and I have developed a relationship. We talk offline periodically, you know what I mean? And I just want to say that, as well as everybody, but I really, really have gravitated to you, and I find you to be a very inspiring guy. You've inspired a lot of channels off of what you've done, and it's been nothing but positivity coming out of your camp. And when I decided to make a video, you and I were going to do an interview. Things in the market were happening. You had things on your docket to take care of with your work and everything that was unfolding, and we just weren't able to make it happen. We crossed up. I got the video up, and then it hit. So what's 589 for me besides thank you, by the way? You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm
appreciate
proud
it.
to be a part of the CKJ family and the XRP community, man.
Thank you big time. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. So let's get into this. So, all right, 589, I've said it could have overlapping meaning.
Okay.
And I'm an investor at heart. I love investing. And I love speculation. I mean, I can run you out of the room with it. I can just speculate till the cows come home.
Okay.
So one of the things for me that I latched onto early, as you know, you and I spoke early summer as far back as that, about this. 589 plus, Alex Cobb is everybody that follows all of this stuff. And for me, just as a caveat, BG123 validated his clues and things that he submitted to the community and put out there. And everybody knows that he put a little something in there to validate that he was, real about what he was sharing. So for me, he's the authentic guy out here that's dropped any kind of clues or anything in the community. Okay. And as a side note to that, I was an investor beforehand of any bearable guy or any riddle showing up on the market, because the truth is you invest in a company because you believe in it and you believe in its partnerships and what it's doing and that it will be successful.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
So, but now getting back to the 589 and all that stuff, because it's just really fun.
Yeah.
I've often said that 589, I saw it floated in a stream one day. Somebody said it's the COMEX rule 589. And I was like, what in the world is that? And I looked it up, and as you know, I've bugged everybody that listened to me about it ever since I looked at it. Yeah. And the COMEX rule is a rule that was made by the CFTC, CME, CBOE, which is basically the commodities division in the U.S. Domestic, in our country. Okay, so it was established for precious metals. Okay, and originally, I thought it worked with oil as well, but it doesn't. It was established for precious metals. However, if it has an Appendix A, Appendix B, and Appendix C. When you look at Appendix A, it's the breakdown of the metals that it actually was established for. Wow. In Appendix B, you will see the rule written of how the process works. And I'm going to paraphrase it quickly just to give you it's one of these. If you would imagine the Shane Ellis theories, the Susie Esoteric Trading Solutions, her theory about all of the order books and all of the exchanges being bought up at one time by large institutions, okay? So basically what we're saying is, or what they're saying is in that theory, that if we just go from there, then I'm saying, okay, maybe we need to entertain the notion if that were to happen, that is quite an amazing hypothetical, by the way, right? All of these are. So take it with a grain of salt, but they're fun to speculate, because if they should take place, we're going to have to take a look at what the impact of this could be. So all of the market books are bought up for a second, right?
Okay.
Now, there's no coins available on the market. So basically, the market is at a lock. There's a shortage. Well, we know already that the CFTC's been put in charge to regulate, because all cryptocurrencies have been ruled commodities in the United States.
Exactly.
Now, side note to that question, or to that statement, is I get a lot of people from the rest of the world telling me the U.S. doesn't make policy for everybody else. And they're right. But you know what? There's this guy named CKJ who went down the rabbit hole on a guy named Ryan Zagone.
Okay.
And he tied him into the entire global network system. And that guy is the reason that the framework has been built, so we can have global compliance and consistency on introducing a brand new asset into this commodities market.
Wow.
Right?
Yep.
What we don't know is that what will the classification on XRP be? Will it be it's not going to be deemed the same as Bitcoin or Ethereum, because we know they're already separate, right?
Okay.
So they're going to classify it special, because we found out recently from our buddy Stuart XRP, who's really a whiz in this community, I tell you. Just he goes around, I think, from everybody's page, just like helping out, man. It's really cool. And he sent me a thing from Ripple's website from 2016 that showed us that Ripple has been selling XRP futures contracts since 2016.
Wow, I forgot
everywhere
about that.
In the world.
Yeah, I remember I read that. I forgot that.
Everywhere in the world except the United States, where we don't have a classification yet.
Okay.
Okay? So now, just before we go any further on that, let's just talk about the COMEX rule, the 589 plus.
Okay.
That could mean the COMEX rule is suggesting that we are just going to be a coin that lives in commodities, which we know we will be. So at some degree, you could say it's already happened. Now, the COMEX rule directly was designed and established originally for precious metals. What does everyone refer to XRP as? Digital gold, I believe, right?
Yeah, digital gold.
If it's considered, a digital asset that's revered similar to gold, maybe the 589 COMEX rule has to be applied to it at some point based on this new classification, and introducing it and making sure it doesn't run away in price when it starts to go mooning, right?
Okay.
Because really the 589 is about harnessing that price, right? It's about being able to stop the market from going out of hand too quickly, okay? But then again, that's what the futures market can do too.
Wow.
The futures contracts, for those that don't know, just briefly, because I had to learn all of this to figure it out.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Coming back to futures contracts, why aren't they sold here, right? Well, because we don't have the classification yet that says exactly what it is, but they're being sold everywhere else in the world. This begs a serious question that is not very popular with the community, because when you take the question that I'm about to ask, and I'm going to ask this question, and then I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to ask this question, and then I'm going to give you a reference of someone that works at Ripple that makes me feel like we may be at this place at some point, right? And the question is, if they haven't brought futures to the United States, because the futures market and the call options market are products that are built on top of the underlying asset or commodity, which would be XRP, okay? This allows for the larger, bigger market and the bigger tiers of liquidity to exist on top of the commodity itself.
Wow.
But it's not allowed here yet. So if it's not allowed here yet, this begs the question, doesn't it? The question is, will XRP remain a retail market? Because we heard Miguel Diaz talk on camera and talk about the liquidity level of the partnerships and the payment flows coming through the system versus the actual retail daily volume that's coming through the system.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And once the payment flows actually start to come up through the system and become the size of the retail market and even larger than the retail market, which I believe we're probably close to or past.
Yeah.
Right? We become vulnerable as retail holders of the coin. And I don't mean we're going to get screwed. What I'm saying is that I mean that they could choose to shift gears, because I'm going to go to another comment and a reference. Dilip Rao runs the Middle East division for Ripple. Eloquently said in 59 seconds or less, we've all seen the video, that XRP was designed, they said they created a retail market specifically to give it an ecosystem so it could exist for buyers.
Yeah.
He said its original intended use is comprehensive institutional global payments remittance. That's what he said.
Wow.
That is not a retail coin. Okay? That is the ultimate goal of the token. Now, with that being said, before everybody sends me hate mail, I love XRP. I'm an XRP holder. I'm an XRP long-term holder. But listen, if we're going to think about the literal 589 numbers and crazy price predictions, we got to think about the real things that could happen in the other side and the not so fun to think about side, right?
Okay.
Or the side that possibly says that one day this may not be. Because if they're holding back on futures contracts here in the States, and believe me, for everybody who's not in the States, every country has their own SEC and CFTCs.
Exactly.
They all have it. That's how we get global compliance, and that's how we get oil and gold at the same price all over the world, right? So if we're introducing this is my thought, you know what I mean, is I see myself standing in the commodities market waiting to catch XRP at the end of a marathon, because that's where they're going to finish. Right? Because that's where they're coming home to roost. That's where we're at. So in my eyes, I feel like, did they hold the futures contracts back because they're going to classify this coin as such that we may not be able to hold it in a retail way, because they may put a classification on it, because I could tell you that retail-wise, you and I can't buy barrels of oil. We have to have a commodity futures traders license.
Okay.
So if they were to reclassify this coin like Dilip Rao said, and for the reasons that Miguel Villas suggested, which would be the partnerships coming through the use case rising above the retail liquidity volume, makes it so we're now no longer as necessary for the coin's existence. And the coin is more important to them to use it for what its intended use was, which means in my eyes that I'm not giving it back to them until someone pays me a lot of money for it. So, this is what we have to think about.
Exactly,
and I don't, and it doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that if we're doing healthy speculation, it's your money you've invested. You should want to know what XRP is going to do, because we're out here thumping the ground for them every day.
So you're saying that COMEX rule, is it called COMEX rule 589?
It is. It's called the COMEX rule 589, and there's an A, B, and C appendix. Now, that's a separate subject. Let's go back to that for a second.
Okay.
So the COMEX rule, the A appendix, it was originally established for precious metals, okay? And like I said, just briefly, I thought originally it was broadly across the oil market. The reason, or across the entire commodity market.
Ripple has a partnership with the precious metal company, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do, and they're currently working on tokenizing gold.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you see, where everything here is, and you can also see on Ripple's page about the XRP futures from 2016 that the approval has to come from the CFTC in order to trade it, which means that you would probably more than likely have to have a commodities trader's license to be able to hold those future contracts.
Wow. So how are they trading, as of right now, like you said, I forgot about that. They're trading the XRP future contracts, I think, in the UK, right? It's somewhere.
Yeah, they're out of London through the rest of the world except the U.S. Yeah.
So I already know that Brad Greenhouse said that they got regulatory certainty in other nations around the world. Now,
That's right.
what clarity do they have to trade the future contracts? Is it under the commodity rule, or what are they trading those future contracts? Or I guess the institution that's regulated is going to be, I forget who.
That's right, and the CFTC and the CME group, because they're all the same. The CME, the CFTC, and the CBOE are all, different sects of the commodities division, and it's all
so we got the CME,
who's
like one of those earliest. Are you talking about the same CME that's one of the earliest investors in Ripple?
That is exactly right. The same CME
group.
that Miguel Villas ran.
Okay, so basically, it's the earliest investors in Ripple, but it's the same entity, but they're just conducting business in a different region because of regulatory clarity that's paved the way for them already.
That's exactly right. And what I feel like is that how brilliant everybody in that group at Ripple, these people are, they're
top
some
notch.
Of the smartest minds on the planet.
Exactly.
And what it seems like to me is that they're developing the futures market, right? And when they're ready to unleash it, they're going to bring it to the largest economy in the world and go ahead and officially let it out of the gate, right?
Wow, I'm with you.
So, but now here's the thing. So let's say they roll out the futures contract. It's important for us to understand that the COMEX rule was originally established for metals, not the entire commodities market. However, if you look at the B appendix, there's an A, B, and C. If you look at the B appendix where it explains how the ruling works, which means there would be a lockout due to a shortage, right? Or some kind of price fluctuation that was out of control, or some kind of hyperinflation to the market, or anything like that. The B appendix of the rule actually is ambiguous that there's an A that shows the list of metals, and then the B where it explains how the rule works. When it actually takes place, they halt the market for 5 minutes, they go back in, they trade for 2, they halt the market, and they go back in. It's a whole convoluted mess. But I'm going to tell you, the B appendix is ambiguous to where it does not name metals or any other commodity. And as a former real estate appraiser myself, I could tell you that usually when you find ambiguity in a law like that, it's usually done on purpose so that the oversight division, if they want to exercise it in another area, even though it was established for metals, let's say, they may be able to use it they make a decision to use it for something else. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Now, that's speculation, but it could certainly take place. However, let's go back to futures really quickly. Futures contracts are also, besides generally being products that you can launch on top of the underlying asset for more money and more liquidity, they can also prove to be a leash on the economy. So back in 2008, oil spiked to like $147 a barrel. Gas went crazy, right?
I remember.
They came in. They didn't use a COMEX rule, right? And it didn't exist until 2014 anyway. But they didn't have the option. So even if they could have, they didn't have the option.
Exactly.
So they came in and they took the futures contracts and they put limits on the size of the contract, and they put limits on how long you could hold the contract. And this absolutely reined the oil prices back in and got the market back under control.
Wow.
So another reason to really understand why they're looking to build out that bed of futures contracts and get that market developed. So when they get the classification here, I feel like they're holding it back, and there's something about the classification of this coin that's going to be very defining for our investment. That's what I feel like.
Wow.
And that's undisputed. You know what I mean? Because they haven't told us yet. You know what I mean? There's got to be a reason
so far.
for it.
Wow. So basically, you're saying that it also has something to do with like freezing the market. Because I was actually doing some research on stock.
Yes.
And that's the thing is like that's why I'm really excited about digital currencies because ever since I was little, I've been in the stock. Well, it's movies. They pretty much highlight the stock market. I don't know. It could have been as little as Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith and the movie with Tom Cruise and Wolf of Wall Street. But anyway, so I'm excited about digital currencies because it kind of runs parallel to the traditional stock market. And since I've been learning digital currencies, I've been also learning about traditional stock market. And I did read something similar to this, studying traditional stocks, that if something was to happen, it can freeze the market or stop trades. Or so it was kind of like something you were saying about them freezing the market, and something about the COMEX 589 rule or something. Was you saying something like that, or something about them freeze the market?
Absolutely, and you're 100% correct. The traditional stock market has stopgaps in them if they need to enforce them, or circuit breakers, you call it, whatever. If things start to run out of control, the precious metals has the COMEX rule 589, which does allow them to come in. And see, here's what's so important about the commodities market, is that if we have hyperinflation or inflation in general on the dollar itself, it's going to immediately affect what? The price of barrel of oil, or the ounce of gold in all the precious metals. So if these things happen on a accelerated pace, they have the option to come in with a 589 and say, okay, gold is out of control, let's say, right? Hyperinflation, or maybe it's a buyout all across the books and it's caused a shortage. They could come in because now we had this huge gap between the last order that it was versus the most recent buyout of all the order books. There's going to be quite a gap between those two prices.
Wow.
And this is going to cause them to come in and have to stop the market and figure out how to get it resolved to where we get back working between buyers and sellers again.
Wow. I can tell you, Backup Brad, I started calling you Backup Brad Cons because you've always been such a great backup for my channel. I'm telling you, you've really done your homework. That's why I said I got to have you back on here to explain, this video you did, because, wow, you've done your homework. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just want to make it real clear, too, that, it's like the COMEX Rule 589, it doesn't mean that they're going to technically use it for XRP, right, if it was established for metals. But maybe they do. Maybe if you're entertaining this fun notion of this clue, right, then maybe you see it a few ways. Maybe it was just pointing to the fact that we were going to be in the commodities market at all. Maybe it's pointing to the fact that we're going to be $589 billion market cap before the end of the year.
Okay.
Maybe it's pointing to $589 physically, which I do not believe. And which, by the way, I would not be upset about if it happened. And I'd be happy to make a video of myself peeing on myself joyfully.
So let me get this straight. So what you're saying, as far as, because like you said, Bearable Guy has been pretty reputable as far as the predictions he's made throughout the year, which I heard you say in the beginning. Now you're saying with the 589 reference, it could be multiple things.
That's right.
589 as far as, maybe gearing towards commodities market, which XRP or Ripple sets a handle, which futures and being deemed a commodity, or Bitcoin's being deemed a commodity. So basically, are you saying that 589 is like a price that you don't think will happen at all? Or do you think 589 is could play multiple parts of what BG was trying to tell us?
I think that 589 could play multiple overlapping meanings in what he was trying to tell us. And personally, for myself, over time, I think $589 is awful low for what this coin can do for the whole world. Okay,
that's what I wanted to hear. No, I'm just joking.
No, seriously. No, I mean, look, if I was just being completely clear, I think that amount of money for that coin and what it's going to do for this world is just, it doesn't even come close. If I think of it in a 5 to 10 year investment like I'm in for, because I'm a long-term investor,
exactly.
I don't see $500 coming close to where this coin can go. It's going to break through that at some point, with ease. I do believe, but I by no means. And I'll tell you something, and I want to tell everybody else this too.
Okay.
Look at what Ripple and XRP have done, right? Look at what Ripple, the company, has done, the way they roll things out.
Yeah.
Did they bring everybody out at one time? No, they didn't. They were announcing partnerships by the week, and they said, I'm going to stop till we get 100. We know that they got over 200, right?
Impressive.
And then we find out on Swell Conference, XRapid is going to go live with how many? 3 different financial institutions.
Exactly.
Not 200, not all of them. So I believe by the actions they're showing me that this will be an incremental rollout, and it will be phased in because it is the entire globe we're talking about here.
You're right on the money with that.
And I believe that ultimately when it is completely phased in, whenever that point is, it will be worth a fortune, man. That's just my personal belief, and I know I'm not a financial advisor, yada, 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 do your own research, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Wow, I'm with you on 1,000% on that. Like I said, I picked up on the BG stuff a little bit late in the year. I was kind of brought to it once, I was down the Faster Payments Task Force rabbit hole, and I think Cobb was covering a lot of the BG stuff, and that's another reason I kind of didn't look into it first, because Cobb had it. It's one of my fellow content creators. I didn't want to step on his toes, so I said Cobb had it. He does a hell of a job. But then when I started running into like pictures of the Federal Reserve and what they look like, and then the building looked like, and then the light bulb went off in my head. I was like, hold on here, like that building looks exactly like the Fed to me. And then a couple other pictures with the handshakes, and so that's when I was like, whoa, hold on, BG was right on the money with a lot of this stuff. And so that inspired me right there. And then this 589 thing, this has become a very, very hot topic where everybody wants to know, we're going to see 589. Does it mean 0.589, 589 a year, 589 COMEX rule? So I watched your video and I said, damn, Brad Com did his homework. I'll get him on the show to talk about this. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with your research, that's for sure.
Thank you. You're incredible.
Oh, dude. Thanks big time. Teamwork makes the dream work. So basically,
it does.
So it sounds like you've been doing your homework on this BG123 589. Have you had a chance to take a look at the Ripple Riddler stuff at all, or what's your thoughts on that?
I have. It's not the same for me. The BG123 decoders and Ripple Riddlers are just, it just doesn't fall in the same for me. Look, all of this riddle stuff is fun for me, but most importantly, the reason why it's fun for me is because that's not why I invested in any of this. And it's just fun to take a look at during a bear market. My bigger concern is we're talking today, it couldn't be a finer moment to say it. There's a lot of people on Twitter right now that are thinking that it was supposed to go to $50 jump today.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I'm not suggesting that Ripple doesn't have the ability or the partnerships to make something like that happen, because they do. It's massive. All I'm saying is that anybody out here, just take a second and ask yourself, because only that person, only as an individual, whoever that is listening to this, right? Ask yourself, did you invest? Did you follow a riddle with your investment? Did you make an investment based on a riddle?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Look, I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm 47 years old, man. You know what I mean? Riddles are fun, but it's not an acceptable excuse at 47 for an investment.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine myself sitting down with somebody else and telling them, they say, well, why should I invest in XRP? And believe me, I've gotten over 32, 33 people invested. And I'm going to sit down and tell somebody, well, there's this guy writing riddles, and, I just can't do it. It's irresponsible.
I'm with you on that. I want to let everybody know I'm not actually laughing at the Ripple Riddler or BG or anything like that, but just the way you put it, I understand. When you're going to want to explain, to your family member or your coworker or, whoever you come in contact with, some of the, hey, this XRP is amazing. Like you said, you don't want to start with, hey, the Ripple Riddler said on this day, this is going to happen. Of course, you want to start with the facts. They're tied to the Faster Payments Task Force, tied to the IMF, High Level Advisory Board. BAKKUP Comms does deep research on the 589 COMEX rule and 58. So, I understand completely what you're saying. Of course, but like you said, it has been fun for people that's, in the bear market, the price is down, a little bit something to get people through, a little bit of entertainment. It's been fun, that's for sure. So basically, you started a new channel, did you? Right?
I did, and it was by accident, right? It was we didn't have a chance to get together, and I talked to my brother, and he was like, well, just make a video, put it up on your YouTube, and then you can share it with him. He'll get to see it, and you guys will talk that way, because, you and I speak periodically offline, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah, all the time, you know what I mean? And I was like, look, I know you got a lot going on, and I'm always traveling. I play music for a living, so I'm constantly on the road and home. And I was like, this would just make the most sense. And I felt compelled to just get it out, right?
Exactly.
I just wanted to share it with the community. And if I could, just to back up about the riddles and the BG3 decoders, just for a second, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm taking a personal shot at them. What I'm saying is that I think, Sam I Am through his videos even tells people, it may or may not happen. What I'm asking is the people that watch that stuff, ask yourself, you know what I mean? Ask yourself why you're making the investment you're making, right? Take a look at it. I don't know how old anybody else is or how relative any of this investing is in their life, but what I'm doing is a big deal in my life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I want to be thorough. And I want to have healthy dialogue about fresh speculation that could possibly take place. And your channel is a fantastic place to find out what's really going on. And you know what? All these different dates that we see coming up for integrations and different companies and partnerships, these are all legitimate dates.
Exactly.
We should all be watching these dates as a disciplined investor. These are things you should know, and you can find them out publicly too. You know what I mean? You can really find them out publicly. And if you want to find out real solid, sound research about what Ripple and XRP are doing, there's a great channel called CKJ Crypto News. And it doesn't get it. Look, I mean, all that stuff is there. There is a library of real information that ties into the company. And like I said, all the riddles and those things are fun and enjoyable for me because I know that those things are already real.
Exactly. I agree with you 1,000%. Well, thank you big time for the shout out like that. I agree with you 1,000%. Like you said, like even with Earthport working with Ripple since 2015 and Faster Payments Task Force starting around 2015, 2016. And like you said, a lot of information's out there. You just got to dig in there and find it. I guess, a lot of people don't have time to, it's a busy world, like you said, between making music, creating content, family life, personal life, investing life. So I'm actually really glad you started a channel. You've been a huge supporter of my channel and always sending me links and really good information. And that's what, of course, like I said, behind my channel has been the birth of a lot of channels. And I just think because, like even with the market being down right now, like we've done our homework all year. I mean, it's clear to see that this is going to be an amazing opportunity, amazing ecosystems being created behind digital assets. And of course, XRP's being the best one as far as the partnerships. And like you said, with Amigo Maez, I probably said his name wrong, but, big top dog at, precious metals market and
CME Group.
Yeah, CME Group. Yeah, you're right on the money with that. And just, I mean, a whole slew of big-time players. Ben Lawsky, Ryan Zagone, Chris Larson, BG, Big BG, Brad Garlinghouse. You're right on the money with that. So basically, what's going to be your schedule for your channel? I see you're doing really well. Your one video, XRP's at 13,000 here. Wow. And
I got to tell you, this XRP community knows how to make somebody feel good, don't they? I mean, it was quite a shock. Like I said, the original motivation for it, you and I had talked, we had gotten so busy we couldn't really line our schedules up. And there was a lot of really, really great content that was just coming out at the time about, what was happening currently in the market. And you had to cover it. I mean, you got to, so life gets in the way, man. And I was like, you know what? I just felt so compelled. I was like, I got to make it. I'll put it up. And if people react to it, maybe it starts a conversation, right? And we can start having a conversation, because where I'm at with this is that you've shined such a light on the real connections that exist between Ripple and the globe. Let's just call it the globe, because it's global.
That's
man,
why I'm excited about it. This is global. This is a global movement. That's for sure.
Global, man. Yeah, and it's massive, man. So I mean, for me, it's like I feel like, okay, and I just want to make sure we start having a conversation about the idea of us, because all of us have come from the wild, wild west in crypto, you know?
Exactly.
It's like there's no rules, right? You know, but there's getting ready to be a lot of rules, man. And we're going to need to educate ourselves on them, because there's going to be some rules put into place on all of this. And I just want to make sure that myself and then try to do the best I can, like you do for everybody, to just learn how the markets operate and behave. Exactly. If we learn how the markets operate and behave, we'll better understand how our investment's going to sit in those markets.
Wow. I think that was like the best line ever. You're right, because it's one thing, like, you know, I never claimed to be a rich man, and I worked real hard for my money also, and I invest, you know, of course, you know, like I tell people, when you get paid, pay your bills first, never invest in you can afford to lose more than you can afford to lose. But at the same time, I think this is a massive opportunity. One, as far as investing in a new ecosystem that's been created. And as far as, I said this before too, I think it's a massive opportunity for, you know, people that, you know, are interested in crypto. Like you said, I'm interested in it. I started creating content. You're interested. You started creating content. You know, we all have done our research, and we got a lot to say. You know, we want to talk. We want to tell people about it, because we want to. It's like an amazing opportunity. You want to spread the word. This is amazing. Like
it is.
And I do believe we're going in that direction. That's for sure. So I'm really glad you started a channel. That's for sure. I'm going to make sure I leave a link.
Well, thank you.
Oh, that's no problem. I'll make sure I'm going to leave a link in the description to your Twitter. And what do you go by on Twitter?
On Twitter, I actually changed it to Average Joe Investor.
Okay.
Because, and it's at BAKKUP Bradley, and it's BAKKUP Bradley, no spaces. Okay. Which is both your names that you gave me. So I'm wearing them like a badge of honor. I'm out here representing, because I look at it like, you know, I'm coming from the, you know, the CKJ tree. You know what I mean? You know, I'm coming out of the CKJ camp. So,
wow,
you know, I like that. Man, it's like lineage, right? I mean, it's like we all come from where we come from, and I embrace that about the community and where we're all at. And there's a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions. And man, oh man, I've met some smart people, man. Yeah. I'll tell you something. This has been fun.
And that's the one thing I want to say too. It's like, believe it or not, at the end of the day, that's why I call it Average Joe Investor, because I mean, we're average Joes. I'm an average Joe investor. Like, this is all new to me. I'm learning, and that's why I love the live streams, because there's always people in live stream that's smarter than me. I mean, like, for example, that's why I called you BAKKUP, because you always have my back, give me good links, very good information. That's why I'm so glad you started a channel. But you gave me an idea. I think I want to do like a live stream, maybe 3 or 4 heavy hitters that just started, or you know, that's trying to pick up some momentum for themselves, like you. Maybe have CNN back on, 2 other people. We'll put something together where we're all on here. We're just bringing all the information that we learned. Yeah, I think we'll do that.
Wouldn't that be something? Man, let me just real quick. That was a Rob Tech, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you something.
Yeah, Rob. I think it's at Rob Tech, I believe, but it's Crypto News Tech, Investigative Reports, Fred Roberts, basically.
I'll follow him, man. He's great, man. He's fantastic, and I found him because of you. I think I was following him on Twitter, but I wasn't really seeing the stuff in the feed. Yeah. But I actually saw that interview, man. That interview just re-upped me on him, man. I said, I got to go make sure I'm subscribed to his channel, too. You know?
yeah, he's a real good guy, too. I love him. And we had Rob Cash on here. So, and that's
he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good, too. That's one thing I like about digital currencies is it's pretty much like the way we are right now. Like, I can pick up my computer. I say it all the time. I can learn about crypto. I can invest. I can sign up to Coinbase. I can sign up to Binance. Like, I think this new traditional way with the birth of the internet is opportunities that are endless for all of us. And I'm excited about this. I'm excited about digital currencies. I'm excited about BAKKUP.com's channel, CNN, Rob Cash. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, I like a lot of guys been around for, you know, a while who paved the way. But at the same time, it's exciting to see the birth of new channels also. And I always encourage those, that's for sure. So if
man,
you start a channel, reach out. Go ahead.
Look, it's so nice, man. You know, because you're a genuine guy, right? I mean, and it's easy to see about you, and so is everybody else, man. The community's great. And look, I know I throw out names of what I usually catch and watch on the mainstream, But look, you know, there's the DM Logics and the DAIs and all the other ones that I'm not thinking of at the moment. It's not to name some and not to not name others, right? Everybody has a place out here in this community, and the truth is, we're not competing for the same audience. We're competing for the 99% of the world that has no idea what the hell XRP even is.
Exactly.
So there's room enough for all of us and many, many more, you know, as long as we make sure we got something to say, right? I mean, that's the big deal.
You're right on the money with that, that's for sure. Like you said, even if like it's the same news article that somebody covers, just the different personalities, what makes it great. And, you know, you're reaching out to different people. So that's amazing also. So basically, thanks again, big time for coming on the show, guys. I will link up BAKKUP Brad Kimes' YouTube channel in the comments or in the description, and his Twitter in the description also. Guys, please support BAKKUP Brad Kimes' channel. I think he said he's going to be working on a new video. He'll have a new video coming out within a day or two. So we'll look forward to that. And like I said, guys, you can tell BAKKUP Brad Kimes does his homework. That's for sure. Information is power in this digital currency movement, and we definitely need that. Yeah, and huge shout out to the rest of the guys, Cobb, DM, DAI, and all the rest of them. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So, dude, I'm looking forward to having you back on the show.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, that's no problem.
Man, I would love to. I look forward to any time I get a chance to sit and talk with you, Joe. I mean, it's amazing. And I mean, look, you know, again, you know, you inspire me, man. I mean, you are on fire, man. And you are, and I'm going to tell the community, I've told it to you. You probably get sick of hearing me say it. I say it everywhere I leave a comment. But the truth is, it's not blowing smoke, man. I know we're talking, and a lot of people are like, oh, they're playing up to each other. It's like, look, I tell you this offline, and you know I do. Yeah. You're the best investigator in the YouTube community when it comes to it. It's what you do. You're an absolute standout at it. Wow. And I think it's going to serve you for a long time to come, because I know it's already served me just to sit and listen whenever you're talking.
Wow. I'm on cloud 10 now. You made my day.
It's a real deal, man.
It's something I always tell people.
Cobb,
it's all about positivity, that's for sure.
It is, man, and everybody's got something to give. And I started with Cobb. I found you and Jungle, and Jungle's my motivational guy, man. You know what I mean? If I get down, I throw on some Jungle, man. He'll get me back in the game, man.
yeah, Jungle's the man. I'm working on getting him on here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just like it was hard, you know, I had to reschedule for you a few times. I had to reschedule with him a few times. He had to reschedule. Basically, you know, creating content, you know, it's got to have a balance there. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in big time. I appreciate that. Please like, please share, please support the channel. The CKJ coin will pop up. You smash that coin and subscribe. And like I said, I will have all the Kimes information in the description. Thank you. Have a good day.